Amazing. So hello, guys. I hope you're all well and having a great week. Tonight, Middlesex University Product Design Engineering, and Design Engineering are really excited to host the second talk in the annual guest lecture series. So a series that hopefully lasts longer than the current Prime Minister. The series runs weekly throughout the academic year. On Thursday evenings, we bring together a vibrant mix of speakers from across the full spectrum of design and engineering. Tonight, we're excited to host Jessica Luck, Marketing Director at Gradcracker. Last year, she presented a really well-received talk with recommendations from the crowd to bring it forward earlier on this year as well. So we've listened and accommodated that for you guys tonight. So a great continuation from last week as well in terms of the talk from the internal MDX works groups on placements and employment. So Gradcracker is UK's careers website for science, technology, engineering and maths, the STEM subjects, and for STEM students. It has over 250 employers advertising their work placements and graduate opportunities on the website, gradcracker.com. So the session today will be full of hints and tips from Jessica and a great opportunity for you guys to discover STEM employers and the different industry sectors that you can work in. Like Jessica mentioned a few moments back, for benefit of all of you guys who are signing in now, as usual, feel free to gather your thoughts, your questions, your comments in the chat throughout the talk. We'll have a Q&A session at the end as well. And if you guys would like, there's an option to go live and interact after the main talk as well. So over to Jessica Luck with the talk title, How to Become a Successful Job Hunter on Gradcracker.
Perfect. What a lovely introduction. Thank you. So hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the session tonight. Hopefully you will find it all useful, what I'm going to tell you. And as we just said, please do ask questions. I'm not the recruiter. I'm the person that, and me and Ahmed will be the person that, can help you through the process and hopefully, advise you in the right direction. So please do ask away. And I'm sure we'll be able to help you with any questions. So just to do a bit of introduction. So yes, my name is Jessica, I'm marketing director. So really my role is to make sure as many students like yourself are basically aware of Gradcracker and the services that we provide and what we do. Really, if you were to put us in a category, technically we are a jobs board, but we're a lot more than that. We've got so many resources, so much advice, we do so much more than just advertise the jobs on Gradcracker. We really are genuinely here to help and support you and give you as much advice about the application process that you can expect to go through with our employers and, lots more. So whether you're sat there thinking, I am wanting to look for a job, or if you're sat there thinking I have no idea where to even start, then that's absolutely fine as well, because we can help you no matter what stage of the process you're at. Can I just remind you, is everyone looking for placements then at the moment? Everyone's got a bit of a placement focus, or are we thinking graduate jobs? Sorry, what year are we in?
We have a few year twos and some final years as well.
Okay, so it's a bit of a mix.
Some looking to go out on placement, and then some obviously looking for employment post-graduation as well.
Fantastic. Okay, again, just the reason why I asked is just so when we're going through the site, I can pull through some opportunities that will be more relevant to yourself. So what I am going to do in this session is I'm going to screen share and I'm going to talk you through kind of like the key areas of Gradcracker, and to basically explain to you how you can use the site to become a successful job hunter. So with us all kind of doing this remotely, you probably either might have your mobiles in front of you, or you might be on your laptops now. I'm more than happy for you to get Gradcracker up as I go through it, and you can kind of follow me through the process. So if you are looking for a graduate role, you can obviously select that. If you're looking for placements, you can select that as well. And then again, I can talk you through how to use the site. So let's make it as interactive as possible. I can't stress enough about questions, and let's get started. So I'm going to share screen. Hopefully you will be able to see my screen in a second. Brilliant. Okay, so this is actually, I'm just going to quickly, I shouldn't have logged in. I'm just going to quickly log out. So I just want to show you the registration process when we get to it. Perfect. Okay, so this is the Gradcracker homepage. So just to introduce you all to Gradcracker. So Gradcracker is the UK's careers website for STEM students. So STEM standing for science, technology, engineering and maths. So we actually launched in 2007, and we are now the number one platform. I don't really think there's anyone really out there doing what we do on this scale. And we are a fantastic resource that no matter what year you're in, you should all be aware of Gradcracker. You should all be using the site to familiarize yourself with the opportunities and the career paths that'll be open to you now, but also when you finish your degree. So just to let you all know how we work as a business. So employers pay to advertise on Gradcracker. So they get what we call a company hub. So in this session, I'm going to show you what a company hub looks like and how you can use these areas, again, to target your applications, and how you can use the information to really understand if this is the right company for you and are these the right opportunities for you before you hit apply. One of the first things I'd actually recommend you all to do, whether you are searching for placements or searching for graduate opportunities, is definitely to register on Gradcracker. Now, just to let you know, you don't actually have to be registered to use the site. You can see all of our employers. You can actually go on to apply to those positions without being registered. But what we've done here at Gradcracker, we've created quite a few little features that you can use that are going to help you to stay organized. Now, staying organized is going to be a massive part of the job hunting process. So you want to make sure, especially this time of year, you're kind of staying up to date with the new opportunities that are being added to the site. We've got some large organizations on Gradcracker that will actually be closing their opportunities quite soon. And then you've got some organizations on Gradcracker that haven't even opened up their placement or graduate roles yet. So I would definitely recommend you all to register. Before we do that, I've kind of touched upon, a bit about the types of employees that you're going to find on Gradcracker. So as you can see, we've got 347 live employers on the site. But typically throughout a 12-month period, we have up to 500 employers actually on the site. Now, these employers can absolutely vary in size, in terms of household names, so companies you will have already heard of before, through to smaller companies, which might say have only, say, 10 people in the business in total, right through to companies that may be quite big within their industry, but they're just not household names. You might not even realise that you can apply to them, or they would even recruit from your discipline. So give yourself time now of the next kind of couple of weeks. If you've sat there not sure whether you should be applying yet or what you should be doing, really to kind of explore these employers and explore these routes and the different options that are going to be presented to you. Other things I just want to highlight, so I will show you this one once we get to the search, but we have lots of different types of opportunities on Gradcracker. So yes, they're kind of headed up by placements and internships, but they can vary in lots of different types of durations. So we've got your year in industry placements, you've got your summer placements, you've got the really short-term experiences, which we call insight events. And for any first-year students that might watch this recording, we've even got opportunities for first-year students to go and get a placement. And then you've got the graduate opportunities. So they can vary as well in terms of graduate jobs and graduate programs or schemes. So lots of different types of opportunities out there for you all. So first thing I want you all to, you're more than welcome to do this now, is to go onto Gradcracker and actually get registered. So registering on Gradcracker literally takes like 30 seconds. And basically you get an area, like I said, called the dashboard. And this dashboard is going to help you throughout the whole kind of job hunting experience to help you to stay organized. So get registered. So all you need to put in there is your name, first name, email address, a password, obviously, which is suitable for you, and then university, your degree discipline. So for you guys, you will head up under the mechanical manufacturing, and then the year of graduation. You can obviously fill that in there as well. So the reason why we ask for this is just so then whenever we get any new opportunities come to the site, or I've got any employees that you like that have got imminent deadlines, we can remind you of those opportunities. So make sure you do that. Once you have done that, you then get your dashboard. So if you've just registered now, you've probably presented with quite a few zeros here. So what we'd like to do is get those kind of filled up and get you kind of on the route to the kind of the job hunting experience. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk you through some of these features. So how to follow an employer, how to save to shortlist, and the benefits of using these features. Okay, so we'll now go back to the homepage. So once you are now logged in, you can then see on the homepage how it instantly kind of changes to suit the degree discipline which you've registered under. So you can then see the amount of employers, placements, and graduate positions. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to stay on the homepage for a little bit because I just want to show you some key areas within the homepage you want to keep an eye on as well. As I've mentioned, this is a really, really busy time here at Gradcracker. So one of the reasons why I'm probably speaking to you a little bit earlier this year than I did speak to everyone last year is because this is the time of year when lots of employers are going live with their placement and graduate opportunities. So for anyone that doesn't know, the kind of graduate and undergraduate recruitment calendar really, really does coincide with the academic year. So as you guys are all back on campus now and things like that, you've just started either your second or your third year. This is when employers are going live with their placement and graduate opportunities as well. So I know it might feel a bit strange, but you've got to kind of think you're almost applying like a year in advance. So you're putting your applications in nowish with the idea to either start that placement or graduate role either in the summer or September next year. So you need to be thinking now to make sure you've secured that job for either when you finish your degree or when you're looking to get your placement either in the summer or in the September of next year. So because it's super busy, I'm going to highlight some of these areas. So as you can see here, this thing kind of scrolling around is a bit like the ticker message. It's a bit like you might have probably seen today on the BBC News site or Sky News. And basically it's new things or urgent news that we need to tell you. So keep an eye on this area. This area is pretty much getting updated every hour at the moment with new things that are going on the site. So keep an eye on that area of the site as well. Also, something I want to highlight to you all is the Gradcracker webinars. So this afternoon, I've just done a really good session with a company called Ineos. They're a huge petrochemicals firm, but also they're involved in so much other stuff as well, as we found out today. So from Formula One to the part of obviously Mercedes in terms of the racing team, right through to boat racing and bike riding and everything else in between. So crazy, really exciting organization. Anyway, so we speak to one of our employers each Thursday. So next week we're speaking to Centrica. And basically these sessions are kind of all geared around you guys coming along and really finding out what that organization is all about. So they are really, quite good fun. We speak to the recruiter, we speak to recent interns, recent grads. We find out what the recruitment process is like, what it's actually like to work at that organization, and the really, really useful insights. So please do come along. Like I said, they're kind of all... We've got a calendar full of events now right up until the new year. So you can watch back on the sessions that we've run as well. Some of you might be interested in some of the, maybe I keep saying Formula One, but we've had some interesting talks from Toyota, Mercedes, Aston Martin. Again, all would definitely be recruiting from your disciplines. So please do watch back on the previous sessions that we've run as well. I'll show you where you can find those a little bit later on. Okay, also staying on the homepage, then you can see our short videos that we create pretty much every day at the moment. So this is my lovely colleague Morgan, and she is talking about GSK and the opportunities that they have just opened on Gradcracker. So she'll give you a little bit of an overview about the business and the opportunities they've just added. And like I said, this updates pretty much every 24, 48 hours. So have a look at that. New opportunities that have just been added to the site, so obviously keep an eye on that area. And then the what's cracking section. So as you're going to come across, and as I keep saying, lots of employers have just going live and trying to grab your attention. So I know it can feel really quite overwhelming because you're probably thinking, where the hell do I start? Who should I be looking at? What opportunities are out there? So give yourself time. Even if you're not ready to put an application together yet, start using Gradcracker to, give yourself time to click on these companies, find out more before you hit apply. Okay, so let's kind of jump into the search then. Let's have a look at some opportunities that you can be applying to. So I'll select placements, but like I say, that can be interchangeable whether you're searching for graduate jobs. Obviously selected mechanical because that's what I'm down as registered under. Under that, you can then search by areas which might be more relevant to yourself. So say, for example, if you're interested in product design, you can select that. Then underneath that, because I've selected placements, you can then see the different durations of the placements that we cover. So sorry, just to highlight, I always refer to them as placements. Sometimes that's quite interchangeable with the word internships. I think sometimes it depends where you are in the UK and what university you go to, or I don't know. Sometimes the word's quite interchangeable. I refer to all of the opportunity just as placements. I don't know why, it's just habit. Some employers, for example, you can see P&G here, they refer to them as internships. Again, but that's going to vary. Once you've selected either your placement or graduate search, underneath that, you'll then be presented by the employer you can search by and by the region and city. Now, in all honesty, I actually wouldn't encourage you to search by employer or region and city, because what I want you all to do at this early stage of job hunting is to keep your options open. The more you keep your options open, then sorry, I've just had a really odd pop-up, and I don't know if that was from this call, guys. I'm really sorry, can you bear with me? It's not. Sorry, I had an email that says someone's logged into your account, and I thought, oh my God. And it was like it must be a spam email, but it's just popped up on the side of the screen. I was like, what's that? Sorry, slightly distracted there. I shouldn't even have my emails on. I don't even know why. Just cross that off. How unprofessional. Sorry, everyone. So yeah, like I say, I wouldn't even search by employer and region city at this kind of early stage. You know, keep your options open. For example, I've just, just been speaking to INEOS, and they put so much effort into their students being able to relocate, being able to move around the country, even, nationwide, as well as, through across Europe. So keep an open mind on location, even when it comes to searching for placements, because what you'll see now since the pandemic, lots of employers are kind of really jumping on this idea of like flexi working, which is also known as either remote working or hybrid. And basically what that means is employers don't necessarily always expect you now to be in the office Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 anymore. It could be that you be in the office, say, a couple of days a week, and then the rest of the time, say, you could work from home. It depends on the employer, depends on the opportunity. So just bear that in mind, because it might be that we, show you a location which, you probably couldn't commute to, say, 5 days a week, but maybe 2 or 3 days a week, it might be a little bit easier. Also, just to stress, employers, like I said about INEOS, are so geared up to helping you relocate. They've got lots of things in place, whether it be relocation packages. I know there's some companies on Gradcracker that actually have their own accommodation, and especially for like those kind of placement students. Can you see that pop-up, Ahmed? I've just had a pop-up saying you have been signed out because your account is signed in from another device.
No, we're not seeing any pop-ups coming up on this side.
So shall I just carry on? I'm worried if I click that, it's going to log me out there. Yeah,
no, just feel free to carry on. There's no pop-ups showing on our screen.
I'll just move this pop-up on my screen then. That was weird. I've just left it in the corner. Okay, I'll carry on. So yes, be flexible, basically. That's what I'm saying on location. Keyword search, you might want to use that as maybe this particular module, a particular thing that you're interested in, I don't know, say 3D printing or something like that. If that's what you're interested in, you can also use keyword search, and that'll pull through opportunities that are relevant to yourself. Okay, next is how you order your results. So by default, it will be by discipline relevance. So what that basically means is we'll pull through the most relevant opportunities to your search by your filters on the left-hand side. But some things I want you to bear in mind. So we've had some large organisations that have closed out their placement and graduate roles already. So for example, I know Toyota, they closed out quite a lot of the roles yesterday and things like that. So basically what I want you all to do is bear in mind the deadlines. So you can order your results by lots of different things, deadline being one of them. So have a look at that. And then what that will basically do is pull through any opportunities, again, that would recruit from your discipline, but you'll kind of order it by deadline. So just bear that in mind, because as we now head towards, into the winter and into the new year, more and more employers will be closing out those positions. So you just want to make sure you're getting your applications in good time and you're not missing out on anything. Other thing you can order by is grade ascending and descending. So just to highlight that, for any students that are maybe thinking of doing an MSc or currently doing one or whatever, again, whoever watches the recording, You can order by that as well, and that will pull through any opportunities that specify certain grades. Okay, so we'll keep it discipline relevance for now, and we'll start to have a look at some of the opportunities. So as you can see, the search is kind of split left and right. So the left-hand side shows you the actual opportunity and a bit of an overview of the opportunity. And then the right-hand side shows you obviously the employer and a bit about that employer. So I want you all to keep cast an eye from left to right, so keep looking, right, okay, have a look at obviously the job title and a bit about the opportunity, but look at the right-hand side, and just within a couple of scrolls on Gradcracker, you're going to see lots of different companies that work in lots of different industries that would still recruit from your discipline. So for example, we've got Procter & Gamble, which is a huge fast-moving consumer goods organization. A lot of products you probably have in your cupboards and drawers at home. Fujifilm, a lot of them just think of the cameras, but that's not this area of the business on Gradcracker. They're a huge manufacturer of inkjet cartridges and things. Cambridge Consultants, so one of the leading technology consultancy firms. Mercedes-AMG, a lot of you will have heard of them. Prax Oil Refinery. Any of you have considered doing that? Maybe not, but you can work in that industry. Jaguar Land Rover, and the list goes on and on and on. So give yourself time, as I keep mentioning, look at each organization, look at each opportunity and think, right, is this a company or an employer I can imagine myself working with? Okay, once you then come across an employer or an opportunity that you're interested in, typically you will click on the actual job description itself. But just for the sake of this presentation, I'm going to click on the logo because it just takes you to their hub homepage, which is a good place to start and kind of show you what a hub looks like. Okay, so this is Airbus, and this is their company hub on Gradcracker. So as I mentioned right at the beginning of the presentation, every employer that advertises on Gradcracker gets this space. So the reason why the employers have this space is genuinely so you guys can put a good application together. Now, employers keep saying when we do our webinars, when we speak to them on a daily basis, they want well-tailored, targeted applications. They do not want to see kind of generic copy and pasted applications. I promise you, you're wasting your time, you're wasting the employer's time if that's what you think you're going to do, because you won't be successful. So we've given you these pages within the company hub for you to do your research, to really find out what this organization is all about. And we want you to watch the videos, read the employer profiles, really start to understand what the organization is all about. I always say to students, there's like two types of research. There's what does the employer do, and do you want to work for this employer? And then secondly, how can then you make sure that you're going to be the right ideal candidate for them? So you want to start to think about, okay, so what's the working environment like? What kind of people do they recruit? What's the culture like? What's their stance on sustainability? What kind of projects are they working on? All that kind of stuff. And the more you start to think, yes, I like this employer, this is a company I want to work for, the better your application is going to be, because then you're going to come across more passionate in your application. You're going to be able to show off to the employer that you've done your research. Also, then you can then start to think, right, okay, so I like this employer. So how can I then make sure I've got all their skills and qualities that they're looking for in a good candidate? And, job hunting is a two-way process. You don't just want to be firing off a load of applications out there. You want to apply for a job and a company that you genuinely are, interested in. As Ahmed knows, life's hard enough doing a job every day, isn't it? You want to at least go to work and do something you actually enjoy and passionate about. As then it's not as boring or mind-numbing or whatever. So yeah, give yourself time to do that. So again, even if you're not at the point of ready to apply yet, even just doing your research now to discover the employers and the opportunities that are out there. Okay, so once you then come across an opportunity that you're interested in, again, I'll pick this at random. It might be that it's maybe not relevant to yourselves, or it might not be an opportunity you are interested in, but it doesn't matter for the sake of the presentation, because the layouts are going to be very similar across the job descriptions and places that you need to be looking at. Okay, so if you want to cast your eye now to the right hand side, and I just want to highlight some things when imagine now you find an opportunity you're interested in, and you're kind of thinking about applying. So just some things to bear in mind before you do that. So if you look at the opportunity overview, there's just some things I want to highlight here. So this particular employer has specified they've got an ongoing deadline. So what that tends to mean is that the employer is going to keep the opportunity open until they have had a sufficient amount of applications. So just bear that in mind. Sometimes an employer might specify a deadline, and the frustrating thing, sometimes they might not always stick to that deadline. They might close out a little bit earlier, or they could move that deadline on. So basically what I'm saying, if you see an opportunity you like, don't sit on it and think you've got ages to apply. If you see it, you like it, get your applications in. Next is the start date. So obviously for students that maybe this is probably aimed more towards students that are doing a placement, if you need to make sure obviously you're available to start on that particular day or that month that they've specified. So if it is August, obviously make sure you're free to do that. Next, just to highlight what multiple vacancies means. So that basically means that this employer isn't recruiting just one person for this job. They could be recruiting over 10, 15 people just for this one position. So yes, the market is competitive, but don't just think, it's only one person that's going to be getting the job. Next, salary bands. So every single opportunity that we advertise on Gradcracker is paid. We don't advertise any unpaid positions on the site. So salary bands can vary, obviously, depending on the opportunity and sometimes depending on location and obviously what you'd be expected to do for the job. So salary bands, give you an idea, for placements can vary from £15,000 up to over £20,000. And then for grad roles, you can see vary from £30,000 up to about 35. Now, I've got some employers on Gradcracker that exceed those salary bands. I've got some employers that over the last couple of years have been advertising starting salaries of like 50k, which is absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, just bear that in mind. Sometimes I know it can be frustrating, but sometimes the employer might state competitive plus benefits. So that doesn't mean you're not going to get paid. It doesn't mean you've got to compete to get your salary or anything crazy like that. It just means at this early stage of advertising, for multiple reasons why an employer might do this, is that it can't give you the exact salary for that particular opportunity. I know that can be annoying, but you will get to know that information as you start the application process. Okay, the next thing to highlight is grades. So some employers might specify a grade when you are looking at the job description. So this particular employer has specified all grades. So you might see across other employers, they might, for example, put, say, 2, 1 and above. So what that means is as long as you are on track to receive a 2, 1 or above, then you're absolutely fine to apply. So any students that are maybe watching this recording, they might have already graduated, might already have their grade, they know they're going to get a 2-1 or have a 2-1, sorry, then obviously you're absolutely fine to apply. Obviously an undergrad like yourselves, either if you're in your final year or if you're in your second year looking for a placement, or obviously final year looking for a grad role, you don't know if you've got that grade yet. So you need to start having conversations with your tutors, with your lecturers. Am I on track to receive this grade? Am I expected to receive this grade? And if you are, then again, you're absolutely fine to apply. Next, obviously duration. This particular opportunity is 12 months. So that's just to highlight that. And obviously location. Make sure it is a location you are willing to commute to or relocate to. Okay, now I want to cast right now to the left-hand side. So this is what we call the job description. Now, I always say to students that the job description is going to be the most important bit of information that you're going to get from the employer at this early stage of the application process. So you really, really need to read it again, and really make sure you fully understand exactly what that employer is asking for. Because what you'll start to notice is that they'll give you an idea of, what you'll be doing and things like that, and the kind of person and the kind of criteria they're expecting. But also there'll be some kind of terminology that they use. There'll be kind of the words which you might not take too seriously. So things like the softer skills. So things like being a good communicator, a good team player, a good problem solver. Now, employers more than ever before are looking to see applications from well-rounded candidates. So yes, they want to know about the technical knowledge that you've learned so far whilst at university, but they also want to know about you as an individual and what makes you tick. So think about any extracurricular activities that you've been involved in that can prove to the employer that you've also got these skills. So things like are you part of, say, a society, and part of that society, say, are you the president, which is organising monthly events, or are you doing something in your own time? Are you designing something in your own time that you could maybe talk to the employer about? All stuff like that looks absolutely fantastic on your CV. Now, employers know, because of the pandemic and lots of other things, that you're not going to have a CV at this early stage that's full of relevant work experience. They know that you're not going to have industry experience when you're a second year student, or even when you're a final year student. So you need to be thinking, okay, well, what other skills have I got, and what other experiences have I got to be able to draw on that to prove to the employer that I'm kind of a well-rounded candidate. So think about that, and that's something which you probably will be able to apply to multiple applications, because again, you'll see, look at this particular job description, the kind of things that they're asking for. So open-mindedness being one of them there. So can you think of a situation you've been in that you have been open-minded? Can you prove to the employer that you've got good negotiation skills? Have you got good written communication skills? So for example, do not be sending this employer an application that's full of spelling mistakes, because they're just not going to look at it. If they're specifying good communication skills, good written and verbal communication skills, they want someone who's obviously checked the work and things like that before they hit apply. Okay, so at the point, imagine now going through the process. Again, it might not be this particular employer or opportunity. You think, right, I like this, I want to go on to apply. So typically it'll be an online application where you'll click from Gradcracker to the employer's website, where you'll kind of start the application process. But before you do that, couple of things I definitely recommend you to do is to save any opportunity that you're interested in to your shortlist. So by saving an opportunity to your shortlist, it basically means you can always hold on to that job description. Because what used to happen before we had this feature was students would be applying to an opportunity and then remind you all of the deadline. So say, for example, it passed its deadline, the opportunity then would come off Gradcracker, come off the employer's site, and lots of students then would forget either what they've applied to or couldn't see the job description and then start to panic. So we created this feature because of feedback from students. So make sure you use this, because I promise you it's going to help you. So if you save it, it'll then sit within your shortlist, and this is the area you get reminder once you've registered. As you can see here, this is the opportunity that we saw. So you can make any application notes. So earlier we were talking about those kind of skills and qualities that Airbus were looking for. So, a good communicator, being open-minded, creative and all things like that. You might want to make some application notes here. So maybe the kind of things that you mentioned that prove to the employer that you've got those skills. So when you do get invited for an interview, you think, oh yeah, I remember what I mentioned. This is the kind of thing that this employer is looking for. I can tick all their boxes. Because in reality, you're going to be applying, I think the average now is something like 40 applications I think students make now when it comes to applying for placement and graduate positions. So in reality, you're going to be applying to quite a few roles. You want to make sure you make the process as easy as possible. You don't be firing off applications, then forgetting what you've applied to. You can then also mark off where you're at in the application process as well. So if you've applied, you're at the next stages or wherever you're at. So make sure you do that. Then also, worst case scenario, you can then remove the opportunity from your shortlist. So this is where I like to go a little bit negative and be a bit of a realist, in the sense of, I don't think I've ever spoke to a student that's applied for one job and got their dream job in one application. It just doesn't happen. You're going to be applying to multiple opportunities. So rejection is going to be a massive part of the job hunting process. So it's okay to get rejected, first of all. Secondly, take feedback from rejection, ask for feedback. So, why was my application unsuccessful? Be a bit self-critical as well. Think, okay, what could I have done better? Is there anything I could learn from that experience? Say, for example, did you get to the interview stage? Is there anything that you think, oh yeah, I felt a bit uncomfortable there, I could maybe improve on that slightly? Again, it's all about learning. So, don't be too hard on yourself either, because again, it's just all part of the process. But the more you think, okay, don't let it get me down, and the more you be resilient, again, the more successful you'll be. So just be aware that that is part of the job hunting process. But, don't dwell on it, move on, and I promise you'll all be absolutely fine. There's so many opportunities out there for you all. It will be fine. Okay, so imagine, right, that's kind of that application done. Another way to discover employers on Gradcracker is using what we call the company hub A to Z or the sector A to Z. So this is another way you can come across organisations on Gradcracker and the opportunities that they have. So again, some of you might be sat there thinking, Jess, I already know about the industry I want to work in. I've got a good idea of the employers I want to work for. Or again, you could be sat there thinking, I have no idea. What are my options? So what we've done here on Gradcracker as well is we've kind of grouped all of our employers by the different industries that they work in. So what we've done here, you can see all the different industries that we cover. As you can see, it's pretty extensive. And also, as we saw from the search, lots of employers from all these different industries would recruit from your discipline. So once you then, say, come across an industry that you're interested in, say, for example, it's transport, what we've done here is we've put all the employees that work within this sector that are on Gradcracker. You then obviously can click into the organisation and find out more. So say, for example, you were interested in Ford. Keep picking automotive, I don't know why. But yeah, you can see more about Ford, what they do, but also you can see that Ford haven't opened up their placement or graduate roles just yet. So what you can do is you can hit follow. And say, for example, you're just interested in graduate roles. You can say, right, Gradcracker, I like Ford. As soon as they open their graduate jobs, please can you remind me, and I'll make sure I'm the first one to apply. So that's how it works. So also you can change your alert preferences. So if it's just placements you're interested in or just graduate jobs, and then all the employers that you follow, again, sit within your dashboard and you can see them here, where then you can manage your alert preferences to make sure that we're sending you the right stuff that you want to be interested in and you want to be obviously be applying to. So make sure you do that. So this is a really useful tool, even if, again, if for a student that's sat there thinking, I'm not ready to apply yet, or I don't know what my next stages are, this is a good way to kind of remember those employers that you're interested in. Also, we'll remind you of any deadlines that those employers have as well. So if they do have an opportunity live and you think, oh, I don't want to miss out on that, we'll remind you, I think it's like 3 days before the application deadline, so you don't miss out. So make sure you follow. Okay, next on my list is the Gradcracker Career Centre. So I don't know if you can remember, but right at the beginning of the session, I talked about the Gradcracker webinars that we hold every Thursday, 2 till 3. So within the Gradcracker Career Centre, you can see lots of resources about kind of how to help you through the application process and things like that. But also you can watch back on the Gradcracker webinars that we run, like I say, every Thursday. So this is the lineup of webinars that we've got coming up over the next couple of weeks and months. But also you can watch back on these sessions. So I keep talking about the session we did with INEOS this afternoon. So you can watch back on the session that we've done here. And basically, these are the people that you'd be applying to. So this is Caroline. So this is a lady that if you were to put an application into INEOS, she's the person that would be looking at your application. She'd be interviewing you. You'd be doing an assessment centre with her. So it's absolutely crucial that you watch these webinars, because you might as well be hearing from the person that you'll be applying to. Caroline even mentions, she even references in the webinar, she likes to hear if someone's watched a webinar, because obviously it's proven to the employer that you've done your research, you're genuinely interested, you're genuinely passionate about that company. So on the left-hand side here, these are all the different sessions that we've ran. As you can see, we've run so many different sessions with lots of different employers across lots of different industries. So whether you're applying or you think, I don't know where to start, watch some of these webinars, because I promise they'll help you. Also, so for example, if I do click Aston Martin, I am going very automotive tonight, sorry guys. But what we have done, just to highlight here, is these are, for example, snippets. So if you don't have time to watch the full hour, and what we've done is kind of broken the session up into like highlights as well. So if you're just about the benefits of doing a placement, for example, you might be interested in, or if you want to know about the application process, you can just watch back on those little snippets there as well. Okay, next on the list, sector podcast, pretty quick. This area basically is a bit like the sector I said, but what we've done in a podcast version. So we talk a bit about, say, for example, the aerospace sector, the employees that work within the sector, and the opportunities that they tend to advertise on Gradcracker. Next on my list is the Gradcracker toolkit. So hopefully you can still all see me. I apologise, my booklet is actually on the floor, which it shouldn't be. The Gradcracker toolkit that we print every single year. These are really, really super useful resources. Basically, they are booklets which will talk you through the application process, what to expect, hints and tips, all the way right through to towards the back of the booklet, which is an industry sector guide. So we talk a bit about all the different industries and about the employers and information you can find in their company hubs. So please do pick up a copy. Ahmed, if you need any more, or if you need some, let me know and I can send them to you. But I know the career service definitely have lots in the department as well. Obviously, they're all free. And then last but not least is the career coach. So what we've done within here is we've kind of given you advice by the topic. So lots of employers will have different stages of their application process. So some employers, it might be that it's an online application, an interview, and then you find out if you've got the job. But then some employers, it can be a lot more stages than that. It could be they're asking you to do psychometric tests. They could then ask you to do situational judgment tests, gamification testing. Then, you could do a video interview, then you could do an assessment center, then you find out you've got the job. So what we've done in here, we've given you advice by each stage of the application process. So basically you can go into each stage of the application process confident, knowing what to expect, and also you then know what to practice as well. So make sure that you have a good look at this area. Okay, and then the last thing I want to show you all, and then I promise I'll stop, is the student STEM societies. So what we've done here at Gradcracker, as I mentioned, you remember when we were looking through the job description, we're talking about extracurricular activities and how employers like to hear about extracurricular activities because it looks good on your CV and, it shows off those skills that you've got and, shows the employer what you actually are passionate about. So we have given students that are part of a student STEM society a free space on Gradcracker, very similar to what an employer would pay for, but they get the area for free. So this is the Middlesex STEM Society. You can see their hub here. This is their page. This is what they do. And then basically the idea is they can have this space to gain new members, but also what they can do is they can actually gain employer likes. So our employers have proactively had a look at this society hub, and just as you can follow them, what the employers can do is they can follow the society hubs back. So it's a great way for members to start to discover these employers, who's looking at them, and also a way for you to start to think, okay, I've never thought of working at Kia before, I've never thought of working at Roke. Let's find out more about what they do and what they have to offer, and do I want to potentially go on to apply? Because pretty much that's what they're inviting you to do. So if you want to get involved, if there is any kind of maybe more unique society groups that are more relevant to your degree discipline or anything like that, if you've got any design societies or whatever, if you want to have a space, please do let us know and we can get you set up on that. And like I say, it looks hugely beneficial on your CV, gives you something to talk about, and employers absolutely love it. So win-win. Okay, I'll stop screen sharing because I can see there's quite a few bits in the chat.
Amazing. Thanks a lot, Jessica. A fantastic talk and overview of Gradcracker. The chat's a little quiet minus all of the admin stuff. So guys, feel free to gather your thoughts, your questions, your comments in the chat. If you're going to go live as well, put a request there in the chat and we'll make it happen. And in terms of your toolkit, the fantastic booklet that Jessica was talking about, there's many copies available from MDX Works, who gave a talk last week. So definitely, obviously, connect there, go visit the office in the quad and pick up a copy. And obviously, if there's any more that's required, we can always connect with Jessica there as well. Mehmet's also mentioned the next STEM Festival's booked for the 16th of March 2023, guys. So obviously keep that particular date free in your calendars and participate and engage with those particular outreach opportunities and extracurricular activities, guys, which will obviously enhance your CV as well. And first question from the chat coming from Tony. Tony Smith's asking, can you filter by job description in terms of on Gradcracker?
So you can filter not necessarily by job description, you can filter by discipline. If you want to do something a bit more niche to that, I'd recommend you to use the keyword search.
Amazing. And Layla's asking, would it specify the days and hours for the placement as well? Like if it's full-time, part-time, the hours of work and so forth?
Absolutely. So sorry to just make that clear. So all the opportunities that we advertise on Gradcracker tend to be full-time. So the placement opportunities, if they are summer, they'll tend to be, say, 6 to 8 weeks, or sometimes it could essentially be a bit longer than that, but that would be full-time. And then obviously same for the graduate roles. We don't have any part-time positions advertised on Gradcracker.
Amazing. And Mohammed's asking, does he need to have a different cover letter for every application that he makes alongside his CV?
100%. 100%. Please do it. I mean, what you can do is create a bit of a template. So then it doesn't, because you're going to be applying to multiple opportunities. But yeah, please do not be sending the same cover letter, the same CV to everyone. The cover letter is your chance to really shine. So please put in there, obviously, the opportunity you're applying to, obviously mention the employer name, why you want to apply to that role. You know, really, that is your chance to really sell yourself. So do not underestimate the points of personalizing that cover letter, because that could be the yes or no in your application. So 100% yes, do. There'll be lots of sessions that MDX will be running about cover letters, CVs and things like that over the next couple of weeks. But we've got some general advice on the Careers Centre, which I've just shown you. And again, that's a great why you should come to the webinars, because Caroline, the lady from INEOS, who we just spoke to this afternoon, she did a massive thing on the kind of things she likes to see in a cover letter, and why it's so beneficial as a recruiter to receive a personalised cover letter and CV. So 100% yes. And if you needed more advice, then, you know, speak to people and get resources on that, because yeah, it'll definitely help.
Brilliant. And on that note as well, in terms of, you know, cover letters, CVs, are portfolios a requirement for some of your companies that are advertising in Gradcracker?
Yes, definitely. And you know, I would recommend to even show off your portfolio, even if, you know, they don't specifically ask for it, because again, it gives you something to kind of talk about, show off about, and you know, it's a chance again for you to shine. So 100%, if you've got any kind of work that you want to show, mention, link to. I know, for example, when I'm speaking to maybe more the kind of computer science students, I mention a lot about kind of GitHub and things like that, or any additional work that they've been doing on there, whatever. So yes, do, because again, the employers know you're not going to have a CV full of relevant work experience. So, you know, work is always classed as, you know, actual physical, you know, being at work, where, you know, obviously the work that you've covered within your modules can give a great example of that as well. So 100%, yeah, put it. If they don't want to know about it, then they won't ask about it, but it's a great work for you to show off. So 100% put it in.
Amazing. That's brilliant. And a question coming in from Drew. So what's your experience of companies offering progression within grad jobs?
Oh, that's, to be honest, the whole reason why they offer grad jobs. You know, that is the idea. You know, it's that the expression of like the talent of like the pipeline coming through. That's exactly why employers are offering these positions. So quite often you'll find what you'll see: graduate programs, graduate schemes. Again, we were speaking to INEOS this afternoon. Their graduate scheme lasts 4 to 5 years, which is quite unusual. Typically, a graduate program would be like 2 to 3 years. But the idea is that they're giving you lots of experience throughout the business to really train you up to become a great kind of employee, for you then to be the future leader of the business. So 100%, that's the reason why Gradcracker pretty much exists, because that's what these opportunities are all for.
Amazing. And a question from Kevin is asking, are there volunteering opportunities as well?
Okay, we don't actually advertise any volunteering positions, but again, I would speak to the university about that, because I know sometimes you offer those kind of positions as part of the university, don't you?
Definitely, especially in terms of events and outreach activities and so forth. Is great. We just obviously came back from a New Scientist Live as well, so there's many students that, you know, participated in that as well. So like Mehmet mentioned, on the 16th of March, keep that date free, and obviously you guys can contribute, and we'll send out more details as the time approaches. Amazing.
Okay, I'll say a few things at the end.
Amazing, thank you.
I'll let you go through the questions first.
Another question coming in from Mir is asking, could you please give us some tips in terms of passing psychometric tests?
Oh yeah, I can. I'll give you, we actually did this recently. My colleague wrote a whole advice article on this, so I can send you the link. So one sec, I will send you that, because it covers lots of different kind of online tests as well. So I'll give you a link to the overall page in the chat. And then we've run the kind of 5 most popular psychometric tests, because a lot of them vary. So I'll link there as well.
Amazing, guys. Definitely click on those links and read those in detail as well. It's a superb question there, Mir. The next question there from Manuel. How can you check if companies have accommodation or if you need to move to another location and relocate for placement?
Okay, so either if they'll put it in the job description, if they don't put it in the job description, it might say plus benefits, but also doing your research as well. So have a look at where, obviously the role itself, you know, could you do it hybrid? Can you do, or do you need to be obviously sorry, can't get my words out. Could you do it hybrid, or do you have to, you know, completely relocate for that? And lots of employers will. It might be they don't necessarily always advertise it, because they might just do it on a case-by-case basis. If you're not sure, again, what I can do is I'll put my email address in the chat. So if you do come across an employer or an opportunity and you would really like to apply, but you're not too sure if they can support you, let me know and we can ask them on your behalf. Let you know either way.
Amazing. The next question from George. I'm talking more about metrics now. Do you have a percentage or any numbers in terms of how successful students are with gaining employment using Gradcracker?
Okay, well, I don't have the exact figure in terms of how many students use Gradcracker and go on to get a job, because as I mentioned right at the beginning, students don't actually have to be registered to use the site. So we can sometimes see X amount of students using the site each day, but some of the, you know, those students aren't registered or logged in. But one of the things that kind of proves that Gradcracker works is something what we've created called the Gradcracker 5-year club. So the 5-year club is a list of companies that have advertised on Gradcracker consistently for 5 years or more. So these employers come back year after year because they get what they need from Gradcracker. And if they didn't recruit from Gradcracker, they wouldn't be coming back each year. So you can see, again, I'll put it in the chat, but we've got nearly 200 employers that literally have consistently advertised for 5 years or more. We've got some employers that have advertised on Gradcracker now for over 10 years. And that's all they do. They don't advertise or don't do anything else. They just advertise on Gradcracker. So it definitely works. Like I said, these employers wouldn't pay to advertise on the site if they weren't getting what they needed from us.
100%. And in terms of an interesting story for you guys, all of the participants, I mean, you know, just a couple of years back, one of our graduates who graduated from the design engineering program last year, he, accessed Gradcracker and applied for a role and was successful in his application and internship at MBDA Systems. He did his, internship there in the human factors department. And, you know, he was offered a role, post-graduation as well on the graduate scheme there. So, you know, it definitely works. And there's obviously other students out there now as well who've also used that particular route. I know last year I was in contact with many of the product design students who had interviews lined up, you know, from various companies using Gradcracker as well. So yeah, it definitely works, guys. So make sure you register and you connect there. Another question coming from Mohammed was, how long should the cover letter usually be?
I wouldn't say any more than a page. I think some people might go to 2 pages, but I definitely won't go any longer than that.
Amazing. Yeah, definitely, guys. There's a few brilliant talks from last year talking about portfolios and CVs. And the key thing is you must remember that there's hundreds and thousands of applicants. So sometimes, you know, some of these employers are skimming through these, you know, reading these really quickly. So you don't want to send through your dissertation and your report, right? So keep it short, keep it sweet, make sure that you answer those particular points that they're looking for in the job description and
Absolutely.
Show how you demonstrate those through your skills and through, your experience. And Jordan's asking, he was applying for a placement in Switzerland yesterday, but they only asked for a CV. At the end of the application, they had a section for his own interest. Should he just have pasted those in his cover letter instead?
So let me read that again. To end of the application. It's hard to answer this without actually seeing. Did they ask you to attach a cover letter as well? Did you manage to send a cover letter?
No. So what they only did was they had little file insert for the CV. But at the end, it was like a comment section, you know, and there was like, please tell us your own interests. And I'm like, oh, should I just write that, or should I just actually like copy and paste my cover letter?
I think I would have made a little. Have you done it?
No, I haven't.
So you can go back and amend it now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I didn't want to tell you what I think you should have done, but you go, oh, I've already done that. Personally, if it was me, think about you want to be seen making the effort. So you've already attached your cover letter, which is perfect. What I would actually do there is I would actually write my own little paragraph as an addition to your cover letter. That's what I would do. And I would tell them about your hobbies and your interests. Again, it doesn't necessarily matter if it's not related. I've got so many examples where I've spoken to students and they'll say, you know, when someone's mentioned a hobby or interest and it's got nothing to do with the company, nothing to do with the industry, but they just like to hear about the kind of things that you're interested and passionate about. So don't worry if it's not, you know, relevant. And I probably wouldn't copy and paste. I'd give yourself a chance there to kind of shine and talk about something else. Personally, that's what I would do.
Yeah. Never undersell yourselves.
Yes, exactly.
If there's an opportunity to add additional information, sounds like you have, and I think you should just add additional information rather than repeat what you already told them.
100%.
Amazing. And in terms of the cover letter, guys, the cover letter CV, if you want assistance, you know, last week, Rabia from MDX Works, you know, that they offer that particular service. Yeah, I know they work closely with the program leaders and different within different modules as well to come in and help you set up profiles on LinkedIn and shape a CV. But they also have this service, you know, that you can access, you know, throughout the course of the year. Obviously, try and get in there as soon as possible, so that you can build that connection and the links with them as well. So whilst that concludes the questions in the chat, Mehmet, you wanted to share a few words as well at the end. Feel free to do that now.
Well, I just wanted to thank Jessica for, you know, coming in twice in 1 week to Middlesex. And perhaps not quite a repeat of what you said earlier, but I think we've got a different type of student that's been on this in this particular call. That there's these lectures are not just for attendance, but also as part of their studies. So it's been useful in that sense. But yeah, I just want to thank you, Jessica, for coming along. But in terms of advice to students on terms of looking for opportunities for placements, internships, etc., and ultimately graduate jobs, I've been going on and on about for years now about Gradcracker, and I see those every Tuesday. I think some of them on this call. I can never say enough in terms of how much you should be using this free and easily accessible information and great resource. Make use of it to your advantage, and always advise you to get all the planning and applications before Christmas. Do not leave this thing after Christmas. And for a simple reason is that, you know, industry works on a different financial model, and they commit to what they're going to be doing in next summer before March.
Yeah.
So that is the reason why I've always advised you to look for these opportunities early.
Yeah.
Don't leave it to Easter next year. It'll be far too late by then.
100%.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Also, I mean, all programs are present here. They do have projects, which I think we always encourage you to develop digital sort of examples of what you do on those projects. Make sure they're accessible, and you produce easily accessible links on your CVs to this, you know, great resource that you will develop over the time. So don't just rely on your CV. Also the examples that you will collect over the years through the work that you do, and we also provide additional, so outside the module sort of stock in terms of the work that we do as on a voluntary basis. So I always advocate opportunities, and it's one of the things that I keep telling you. You welcome me, and the first time I see you, that you should take up the opportunities. I mean, the faculty organizes 5 national events. We've just had one. I was saying that we were at the national, you know, the New Scientist Live. Fantastic opportunity. Many of you took part. I think about 78 students took part in that event over 3 days. We've got November coming up with World Skills UK Finals, and then there'll be another big event on the STEM Festival, which is back on campus. They'll be running for a whole day. So these are good stories that are, unique, and it's available to you at no extra charge, but opportunities there to capitalize on, to make it different to thousands of other students who do not have access to these opportunities. So I'll stop there, but don't undersell yourselves. Collect what you're doing and then use it to represent yourselves of how you are and what you do.
Absolutely, yeah.
100%. I totally echo and mirror those comments as well. And also, I'd like to conclude by saying, Jessica, a fantastic talk in Q&A. Obviously, thanks for your time and thanks for the talk. Guys, the details of the talk and navigating Gradcracker, etc., were sent in your emails alongside obviously some of the links that Jessica's posted in the chat as well. So remember to register, set up an account, and start your job and placement hunting on gradcracker.com. We really look forward to seeing you guys all again next week. A new speaker, and a new speaker before a new prime minister as well, hopefully.
Yes.
So keep an eye on your emails for the details of the speaker and links to the talk. Until next week, guys, stay well, stay safe. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks again, Jessica.
Thank you, everyone.